I hate Ross. I hate Ross so much for his choice this week. Ross has chosen for me to watch Society and discuss Society, a 1989 film starring Billy Warlock. Awesome name, but everything else about this movie is not. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Like, Ross was going to get a nice comedy next week, but now I feel like I have to get back at him after watching this movie. Alright, so Society is a 1989 film that took a couple years longer to come out in the US than it did in Europe. It also got a worse reception than in the US at the time of release than it did in Europe. Um, it can be kind of preachy at times with the themes that it throws at you. Like, it's the writer, it almost is supposed to be so over the top that it's like there's not supposed to be much in the way of nuance. Now, so I chose this background because game on, Ross. Now I gotta see if I can find something that disturbs you as much as the ending of this movie disturbed me. Here we have our main character and hero, Bill Whitney, played by Billy Warlock, and his best friend. And Bill never felt like he fit in with his family. He grows up in a very rich neighborhood in Beverly Hills. Very nice cars, very nice things, but his family always seemed off to him. Like, he claims his parents never accepted him and all that jazz. And he's talking to a therapist about it, though he's doing well in high school as he's a basketball star and running for class president. But people start to label him as paranoid. And he always goes, I'm not paranoid. I have things that I should be afraid of. And, so like the first hour-ish of this movie is kind of weird. Nothing, like, you're starting to learn about a conspiracy that's going on, and Mike's family's involved, and people who try to talk to him about it tend to end up dead. His sister just joined the quote-unquote society, and things go off the wall so fast in the last 30-ish minutes. So fast. And, alright, so the movie starts, high school, kid doesn't fit in his family, you're getting something's going on, but that is not why this movie is horrifying. The scene that is horrifying is the chunt, I think it's called. It's when all the people in the quote-unquote society, the titular society, come together and do something. Like, I watched The Boys, and the Herogasm episode was this week. I'm releasing this very shortly after I watched that episode. And Herogasm does not even hold a candle to what goes on in the chunt. I believe it's the chunt. I don't want to think about it. When I do reviews, normally I do the reaction like pretty quickly after I watch. This one I had to let simmer. I had to let this simmer because this is almost therapy that I am talking about. Like, the ending of this movie is so damn scarring. And it's not, like, terrifying. It's just like, what the fuck is going on? Why is this happening? Why am I watching this? Because Ross is an asshole. So, the ending scene, you get the meeting of the rich people. And they bring Billy along because his whole childhood was a ruse where he was raised by rich people to essentially be sacrificed. But this movie suggests that rich people are different species from regular people, or quote-unquote lower-class people. And, well, they start to merge with the regular person that they are stealing the life force from, I guess. It's really gross. It becomes a gelatinous blob of flesh, and when people come out of it, they're sweaty and covered in like KY jelly. Now, the body horror and transformations look incredible. Like, the practical effects are so mind-boggling good. Like, I wish they weren't, because maybe the ending wouldn't have been so scarring. Um, Now, other things happen in this movie, but no one seems to care about those other things. It's the ending everyone cares about. Kind of like Sleepaway Camp. No one talks about anything besides the ending in Sleepaway Camp. And so, this movie is so heavy-handed with, like, the class kind of battles, or upper class, leeches on the lower class, which they literally turn them into leeches on the lower class, where they're, like, morphing into their body, and then the hand goes up the bum and comes out the mouth. Yeah, that happens. They're sucking the life force of this other character. I'm going to call him Informant Number 1. It's Blanchard. Blanchard is the character. So they're going to... the rich people are going to absorb Blanchard before they absorb Billy. And you see what happens when they absorb Blanchard. And Billy's adoptive parents and sister are part of this, and there's a judge, and there's an asshole from high school, and there's a girl that Billy had been banging, and I'll get into her a little bit later. And they become this amorphous blob, and then the judge shoves his hand up Blanchard's ass, I believe, and it comes out his mouth, and eyes pop out, and I don't know why I'm a broken man after this movie. I really am. I'm telling Ross game on, but I'm not sure I can compete with him with screwed up movies to make him watch. So, again, the ending scene, the body transformations are incredible. At one point, Billy calls his father a butthead, and you see his father transformed where his head is actually coming out of an ass, and he's like, hey, look, I guess I am a butthead, and then starts making fart sounds. Yeah, that happens. And then you see the mom get up, and, like, her legs are arms, like, muscular arms, and she starts walking towards Billy, and then his sister pops out of her where her mom's vajayjay would be, and, and just all sorts of things. And then Billy challenges asshole number 1 to a fight, and yeah, all these rich people are like cheering on that guy, and he's beating the crap out of them, and the guy goes to like start absorbing Billy, and he does that by kissing him and like trying to suck the life force out that way. And then I think Billy shoves his hand up asshole number 1's ass. Yeah, I said ass a lot there. And ends up killing him that way. So yeah, this is a jumbled mess of a reaction, but I'm a jumbled mess after watching this movie. And then it's very B movie. Like, if you enjoy B movies, you probably will enjoy this. It comes off very B movie, but it's very, like, it's not so nuanced in its portrayal of rich people are bad. And there's just like one of the lines you get, so the father goes, you were right, Billy, I am a butthead, after he turns himself into a walking ass with a head coming out of it. You get the bully saying, didn't you know, Billy, rich people have been sucking the life force of the poor forever. So yeah, the intentions are clear with what they're saying, but it also seems so deliberately over the top that it's like, it's almost purposefully over the top, which makes it interesting. It was directed by Brian Yuzna, written by Zeph Daniel, and yeah, it starts off, like, again, first hour and a half, it's a over the top, not magnificent, like, psychological horror. You're led to believe that there's some sort of conspiracy going on. And then you find out it's a sex cult, kind of, but instead of sex, they're merging together and pouring champagne on each other and absorbing lower class people. And it's just, And then I didn't even get into. So Billy breaks up with his girlfriend that he had at the start of the movie to start banging one of the girls who's in the society. And her mom, they don't ever explain it, but is weirdly obsessed with hair and just goes for hair. And also looks nothing like the daughter. And I don't know. That was weird too. Like, she's totally obsessed with hair. And she coughs up hair at one point. So yeah. I think I'm going to need therapy, and I'm going to bill Ross for it, because this movie's the reason why. So I'm saying game on, Ross, with the background, but I'm not that confident in myself after this week. So I'm going to have Ross watch another anime. That's it on Society. I was going to go with another comedy, but after this, I think I got to give him something a little bit higher grade, so I'll introduce it officially on Monday when I post up, or Tuesday when I post up that video. But it's going to be a hyper violent, hyper sexual anime that I'm making Ross watch.